I know it's very much a mental thing, so you kind of try and distance yourself from it, and I refuse to use the word dartitis just as a mental thing. The knock-on effect of it was horrendous. It's that period was the most down, upset I've been in the sport, and tried everything, and it came down to when you're in a pressure situation, it ramped up.
You say you're being hard on yourself. If we can take this to a bit of a darker place, when your throat started to break down and you start to suffer with dartitis, just explain to those but maybe don't know what that is like for this is your sport, this is your livelihood, and all of a sudden your throat's starting to let you down and you're noticing that you can no longer play the way that you did.
Yeah, I mean, we compare it to the yips in golf, don't we? But it was it was a strange thing, I think 2014 time. I remember just thinking, well, what's going on here? And I know it's very much a mental thing, so you kind of try and distance yourself from it, and I refuse to use the word dartitis just as a mental thing, and I just called it like a technical issue, but I knew it was getting worse, and players were starting to notice it as well. I remember playing a game once in a Euro Tour qualifying, I could see people watching me because I was all over the place, couldn't let it go, and I was conscious of that, and it was a real testing time in my career, and you know what, at the end of the day, I'd never recovered. I had a little run, but I've never ever recovered the confidence, and the knock-on effect of it was horrendous. It's that period was the most down, upset I've been in the sport, and I remember losing to Adrian Lewis at the match play when I had it. I was fine, and it kicked in at the back end, and I knew then, I was like, I can't get rid of it. I'm never going to get rid of it, and it was like, I was in tears after the game. I knew that, I'd gone because I couldn't play the way I wanted to play. I was having to adapt, but that's not how it's. You want to feel comfortable. I was having to sort of, cater for it, and it was a horrible feeling, and one that crept up on me, and I was convinced it was because I was mentally weak, but Eric got it, and Eric Bristol wasn't mentally weak, far from it. But I thought it was a pressure thing. I thought maybe take myself out of the pressure. I'd practice at home. I'd have it in practice, and then it was like, I could have a practice with my mate, and it was there, and I could not get rid of it. And to this day, I'm not. I haven't got it anymore. I throw pretty well, but my confidence shell shocked, and my technique's still not great. And it was kind of the beginning of the end, really.
Didn't you go and see a coach to try and help you with that as well, if I'm not mistaken? You tried to see someone?
Yeah, it's a psychologist, coach. I tried everything. I tried, you name it. I tried it. My sponsors, Winmore, catered me with a board. So I felt if I just threw at bigger targets, they made a board with big segments just to get rid of him. I threw with 4 darts, 6 darts, 9 darts. We just lobbing him. I tried everything, and it came down to when you're in a pressure situation, it ramped up, and I was conscious, and then opponents didn't enjoy playing me. And I remember Jelle Klaassen wasn't happy with my technique in a game once, and I said, it is what it is, you deal with it. I mean, it's harder for me, trust me. And it didn't mean anything, but I wasn't putting him off, but it was putting him off. I wasn't trying to. And then it was horrendous, and it was just every time it made you panic. It does make you panic, and you've seen it with Berry as well, bless him, and he's done well, really well, Berry, being impressed with him. But his was different to mine. I couldn't get the release. He couldn't get it up into the set position. But it's just a strange thing. When you set out, and Matt's sitting next to me now, you convince yourself it's never going to happen to you, and you've got a nice action, and it came from absolutely nowhere. But wow, did it hang around? And it was, it was kind of sort of to the detriment of my career, and I never recovered.
Did you feel the support of your colleagues, your fellow players? Obviously, they're there to beat you, but it's sort of something that everyone can rally around as something that nobody wants to happen to anybody. It's like the equivalent of a footballer not being able to kick a ball anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. I mean, Michael, one of our best players, Matt Van Gerwen, he actually said to me, I feel sorry for you. And I was like, cheers, Mike. And it was horrific. Every game was a chore. I still won some games, but there was no end enjoyable, Lewis. I took no pleasure in some. I played Stuart Kellett once, I remember, and I felt so sorry. I really like Stuart, great guy. I think I just ruined the game for him, but I won, and it's like, what's going on? And then you kind of think, right, fresh start the next week, it'll go, and it's there again, and then right, it'll go there again. You have a little spell, it's always there. But I managed to make it sort of, I adapt. I became lungy, but it was it's just the way it was. It wasn't good to watch. I never liked watching myself back. And in the end, it was never going to hold up in big situations. I was never going to win an event throwing or playing like that. So I just had to sort of plod on and get some last 16s, the odd quarter final, and just make the best of a bad situation. But look, it's the lowest I've ever been in the sport, and it sort of confident-wise, and now I never recovered.
So moving on from there then, your career sort of started to fade out, but the opportunity to become a commentator stepped in. How did that come about? We see you regularly now on Sky, ITV, future PDC events. So was that something that you always thought you could potentially do, or were you just gifted an opportunity and thought, actually I can make something of this?
I thought I could do it. I mean, it's one thing knowing your stuff. You've got to lay it out in the right way. I mean, I worked on the Championship League of Darts, which is an event which run on BBC, and obviously put myself in the window. Sky got in touch, and I'll give it due. Sky, they just chucked me in. Go on, you commentate, and then you have a go at leading and stuff. And I love it, and it's kind of. I never thought I'd love it as much as I do, but I do. It's brilliant. It's not a job. I enjoy it. It never bothers me having to commentate on a game. I like the atmosphere of who I work with, Sky, ITV, and the media room. We have a good atmosphere there, don't we? And I think it's come along at a perfect time for me. When I first did it, there was kind of a bit of resentment. I still wanted to be a player, but that doesn't bother me anymore. And it's, do you know what? So lucky, and I'm fortunate that I got to have a go. And it's occupying the majority of my life now, majority of my career. And like I said, if you enjoy your job, it's not a job, is it? And I love it. And never when I go to an event does it feel like a job or a chore.
Matt, you've had a few examples of yourself giving a go at commentary recently. Is it something that is easy to do? Is it easy to step into when you've got the knowledge of being a player, or as guys like yourself, is there a certain knack that you've just got to do it?
You learn a lot, don't you, when you're playing, and you know what players are going through, and it's easier to paint the picture if you've been there and you've sort of been in that position yourself. And yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned that to begin with, you sort of resented it a little bit because you wanted to play and things still along that time. Does that mean the playing sort of gone now for you?
For now, yeah, it has. It's just I've had some surgery on my shoulder anyway this year, so that's kind of set me back. But dedication, Matt. I don't practice enough, and I've not got that bug to get back at the minute. And I've got the way my calendar works out next year. I don't think I could try and be a professional dart player. So for now, it's on the back burner. And you know what? The longer you put it off, it's when it's harder to come back. And you see players. I really was determined to be a player who left would come back. Once you leave, it's hard to come back. But at the minute, it's not the forefront of my priorities playing. I enjoy the media side. I think I'm okay at it as well, and I enjoy it. I like doing it. I like doing different things. I've had a little go at like doing a feature for Sky Sports, sort of interviewing a player, Chris Dobie, this week, which I like doing. I like speaking to players, listening to what they're going through, and I always thought I judged players. I judged Wayne. I thought he gave up on his career a bit too early, but now I've done it. I feel it's the right decision. You've got to do what's right for you, and for me at the minute, playing certainly not that, and I enjoy the media side. You
said there that you like to listen to players. Was you always a thinker even when you was playing as well, like trying to analyse or trying to work out what people are going through and thinking?
Oh, I was a thinker, yeah, big time. Oh, wow, was I? Probably my downfall. I couldn't blank stuff out, but it's working for me now. It's good to be like that in this sport, this area of the sport. But as a player, you don't want to overthink. But it's worked for me now. Like I said, the media side I really like. I'm part of a great team as well. The majority of my work's with Sky, and I love the people I work with. I think we do the job well, but at the same time we enjoy ourselves and have a good laugh. And it's still got that sort of dart environment as well. We have a bit of laugh, bit of banter. The media room's a good crack. The journalists there as well. It's a good atmosphere to be in, and I really love it.